Hello and welcome to Reviews at Ryan, and today on the channel I'm going to be talking about the brand new horror animation film that is going to be premiering on Shudder on June the 16th. I got an early screening. I'm going to talk about this film next, and this film is directed by Phil Tippett. He's done visual effects on Jurassic Park, Starship Troopers, and also RoboCop. This is actually his directorial debut, and he spent 30 years in the making of making this film. And before I get into my review, I'd like to ask, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and comment below your thoughts on this film. Are you interested in seeing this? Is it your cup of tea? And then also hit that notification bell so you never miss any video that I make. And now without further ado, let's dive into this review. A figure known as the Assassin descends from the heavens into a nightmarish pit full of monsters, titans, and cruelty. And for the sake of how this movie is laid out, I'm not going to list the actors. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the description. I'll explain coming up a little bit later as to why I'm not going to announce the actors for this. So when I got the screening of Mad God, I was actually really interested in checking out this film. The last animation film that I didn't technically get a screener for, but I checked it out on Shudder, The Spine of Night. I really did enjoy that movie. So I was really looking forward to another horror animation because Shudder seems to know what they're doing in the aspect of picking up films to put on their streaming services with the horror animation. So this film visually is very stunning. There are a lot of different color mixtures and different color palettes in this movie. It really feels like you're in hell with all these different visuals that you see. The music in this, it's very much variety in this. There is some acoustic kind of sounds, there's some high pitchy kind of sounds, there's some low pitch kind of sounds, and there's also really kind of real horror music that really goes into the score throughout this film. And really, this film is really about the journey of this technical assassin. And before I really talk too much about characters in this film, there really isn't any centralized character in this film. The two things that this film does really much lack is it doesn't have a story at all. It's just really a free-for-all of a lot of visuals. And also that some people may not really like about this film, and I particularly didn't really like that this film didn't have, is there is no dialogue in this film at all. It is completely based on visuals and based on the fact that we have this score in the background, and pretty much the visuals really speak for themselves. You really see a lot of really weird and obscure kind of visuals. You see a lot of different things that you normally wouldn't see, and it has this stop animation. The film, it didn't necessarily technically rely on scares or anything, but it has a little bit of shock value. Film that this technically reminded me of is a film called 9 that was released back in, I believe, 2008, 2009. That had a really dark approach to it, but this film really goes beyond that. As this film, like I said, it has no story, but you're just really captivated by the visuals in this. You know, there is a lot of bloody moments. There are particular scenes in this where they have like a baby babbling. That's probably the closest you get to any kind of dialogue in this film. And then you have, clocks ticking. You have the sloshing of mud. You have footsteps that you hear. You have these different crew that are working that it seems look like they're, working in like a factory, and they're like these yarn people. Kind of remind me of Minions. Obviously they can't talk, but like, they'll get hit by a train or they'll die instantly. There's a lot of kind of visuals like that throughout this film. And then you also have this really crazy visual that is taking place, and it looks like in a dollhouse. I'm not really sure if that's what it is, but it looks like a dollhouse. And you have this surgeon that is like operating on these different types of monsters. And then you also have a lot of close-ups of monsters where they're like, doing close-up shots in their eyes. And like the film really wants to have this kind of a little bit of shock value to it. There are scenes that are really hard to look at for animation. And the film really, I think, wants you to feel a little bit kind of not really in the element of really being comfortable. The film also feels like it's in an apocalyptic kind of style. And I really have to say that the one thing that I wish that this film really had, as it did take this director 30 years to really get this film off the ground, and congratulations that he got off the ground and, got it in, Shudder, and it is in some select theaters. I did see in the next town over that one of the artsy kind of theaters are getting this. So it's really cool that it's in, smaller theaters, and it's just something a little bit different than most films that you would see. But I really do wish in the 30 years that he worked on this that there was an actual story, because it is really just a bunch of visuals and sound and really nothing else. And because it doesn't have that, it really drives the score down for me for this film. And I really wanted to love the film more than I did. I did like a lot of the visual aspects and of course the music. That really what makes this film what it is. But because there is no story, I'm going to give a score of this film a 3 out of 5. I think it's worth a watch. It does have some really cool visuals, really cool sound. And then of course, if you're okay with the fact that there's no dialogue throughout, then I think that you'll really enjoy this film. This film has a really high score on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I think it has around 90%. So that is really unbelievable for a film of this size, as it's not a film that is really that popular. But I really do hope that people, if they have Shudder, or if you don't have Shudder, you should definitely check it out and definitely give it a chance, as it really is something different to really check out. And thank you guys for watching this review. Let me know down in the comments, did you like this film? Did you hate it? Are you going to check it out? Have you heard of this film? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on my next review.